Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started in a few moments. If you could, make your way to your seats. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started. My name's Evan Stubbs. I'm one of your district judges, and they asked me to ask the questions tonight. But before we get started, we have Dr. Aaron Pena, and Dr. Pena is the new Burnet superintendent for the Consolidated Independent School District. Started 3 weeks ago, he told me a few minutes ago, and we'd like to give him an opportunity to just introduce himself and go through a few highlights of what we can expect.
All right, I'm headed that way. I came up the wrong side. Well, they told me I have a captive audience, so I'm going to be able to speak for, was it, Damon, 30 minutes? No, just kidding. Just a few minutes just to tell you a little bit about myself. Yes, my name is Aaron Pena, and I moved around a bit, grew up primarily Bastrop, Texas, when it looked like Burnet. And I don't know if you've been down there lately. It has exploded. It's grown up quite a bit. Also spent some time in Houston, and I graduated from Baylor University. Met my wife in Houston, convinced her to leave Houston Baptist. Her name is Patricia, and we both graduated as Baylor Bears, went on to get our masters together, and I eventually did my doctorate at the University of Texas down here in Austin. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Nobody said anything when I mentioned Baylor, but that's okay. I've got I have three amazing daughters. Two of my daughters, the older two, are at the University of Mary Hardin Baylor over in Belton, Texas. And my youngest, okay, I'm ready for it. My youngest is graduating in a couple of months from high school, and she will be attending Texas A&M. So, there you go. And I'll tell you what, I bought the colors, and they're hanging in my closet, and it looks a little odd, but it's okay. I'm gonna get used to it. It's a fantastic university, I must admit. I am excited to be wrapping up, or actually in the middle of my third week here in Burnet Consolidated. I have met some of the most amazing people. The kindest, hardest working folks work right here in these schools right around us. And so thank you. As a community, you have nurtured that. You have supported that. And there is the only reason that Burnet Consolidated is as successful as it is because of the people who make it up. The students, the teachers, the school board, and definitely the entire community. So thank you. This is not filled with coffee. This is actually a prop. So I'm a teacher at heart, so I'm going to do a little teaching. But before I do, I want to brag on some kids. So at Monday's board meeting, we're going to be recognizing students. And we do this every board meeting. This is a tradition that I'm so thankful to be a part of now. And at the May board meeting, I really encourage you to come out, because what I've been told is that we are going to have so many recognitions, so many students have done amazing things, will be recognized at that board meeting, that we're going to have an elaborate rotation just to get all of the amazing students and their families through to take pictures and really celebrate. So I'm really excited about that. But this Monday, we're going to be celebrating two students who are state qualifiers for the 24 State UIL Theatrical Design Contest. So it's not all about football, y'all. although I can't wait for football season, I must confess. 3 students competed at the 24 FCCLA. That is Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. At the state level at the conference. We have a Burnet student who is a HOSA student who recently competed at the state contest as well. We have girls and boys basketball team members being recognized who are receiving academic all-state honors. I can go on and on. We have some amazing and fantastic kids. And now I want to shift a little bit. Because in these 3 weeks, I've also learned that we've got some amazing and not so fantastic challenges as well. And anytime I get in front of community members, I like to just share a little bit about the wonderful things going on, but also about some of the challenges. We have financial challenges, folks. I don't know if I'm the first to tell you, hopefully not. But just like many, many districts in the state of Texas right now, there are some things that we're going to have to overcome. And so this is where the lesson comes in. You know, if you know this already, and I know some of you probably do, forgive me, but I'm going to just kind of go over it elementary style anyway. So this cup here, we know it's a Grande Starbucks cup. It represents the Tier 1 entitlement for a school district. And all that means is the state decides for Burnet Consolidated how much money, what the funding needs to be able to make school work, to be able to pay for teachers, to be able to pay for books and for the lights in our buildings, to be able to mow our lawns and do all the work for Burnet Consolidated. That's it. That's what you get. So what people don't always understand is, well, my taxes went up or the tax rate changed. And so doesn't that affect the Tier 1 entitlement? And what I always have to explain to folks is it does not. This is what you get. And so here in Burnet Consolidated, most of this cup is filled up with local tax dollars. If it spills over, we don't get to keep the spillover. That is taken back to Austin and redistributed across the state to other districts. Now, the way that this is, oh man, I'm going long. I'm gonna wrap it up fast. The way that this is determined is what's called a basic allotment. Now, the basic allotment was at $5,140 in 2019. They changed it that year from 2018 to 2019 because of inflation. School districts could not operate with their entitlement. They needed more money to pay teachers, to give raises, to pay for higher electricity bills. They moved it up. Does anybody want to take a guess how much that year? I'm hearing a couple bucks, $300. They, because of inflation, raised it $1,020. So it jumped to $6,160. That was in 2019. I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's been this thing called inflation since 2019. Everything has gotten more expensive. Teachers have needed raises and cost of living adjustments, paying for bills, putting gas in the buses. Everything has gone up. And so what districts are actually needing is a bigger cup. But the state, unfortunately, has told us that, no, you keep the 2019 cup that we gave you back then, even though we raised it over $1,000 because it was needed. How much was it raised? Pop quiz time. How much was it raised this last summer during the legislative season? Does anybody know? There was a House bill that was being floated around. We needed over $1,000 to have a realistic adjustment. There was a House bill floating around that was promising $90. $90. And myself and other people all across the state, we were ecstatic to receive some crumbs. We were at least going to get something. And you're right, I saw some of you raise the big fat zero. That's what we got. Folks, when I read off these amazing things that are happening here in Burnet Consolidated, if you put it in this context, it really just shows how wonderful this community and our teachers and our coaches and our staff members are to be able to get such amazing results with so little and being stretched over and over again. Don't worry, the school board here is fantastic. We got fantastic people. We're doing more with less, and we're going to continue to do that. I've got some ideas. We'll continue to work, but I ask that if we ever come to you as a community and ask for some help, that you come in and speak with us, and we'll go over these kind of things so that we can continue to make the best decisions for our students. Thank you so much, and I look forward to meeting everybody face-to-face and personally very soon.
All right, so the way that we are going to go through things tonight, first we're going to go through the school board candidates for the Burnet Consolidated Independent School District. Second, we'll go through the city council candidates. Third, we'll go through the county commissioner candidates or candidate. And lastly, we will get through the tax assessor and collector questions of those candidates. And so if we could have the school board candidates come up at this time, I believe we have Ms. Katie Duke and Mr. Amber Cardenas. And if you want to have a seat on the stage. And so we have a number of questions that were sent to each of the candidates for each of the respective offices or positions. And so they've had an opportunity to not be surprised by the questions, hopefully. And I'm told that each candidate is going to have 2 minutes to respond. And so if you are watching us on the YouTube channel, we're going to have Ms. Cardenas on the left-hand side and Ms. Duke on the right-hand side. And this is a good time for me to thank the Burnet Chamber of Commerce. They are the group that put this together, and thank you for the people that have come to take advantage of the opportunity to listen to the candidates. And also want to thank Mr. Damon Bowerly. He's one of your county commissioners, and he is also the one in charge of the computer system, the camera, and the microphones. And I'm sure that he is doing that for just the thanks that he got. So if we could thank the Chamber of Commerce and Mr. Bowerly. All right, then we will get started. The first question is going to go to Ms. Cardenas, and it is, what motivates you to want to be a school board member?
Hi, thank you for inviting me. The main two reasons that I want to be a school board member, the first is the concern that I feel for the education and well-being of my own children and all the children in our community. I have a first grader at Shady Grove Elementary, a fourth grader at R.J. Ritchie, an eighth grader at Burnet Middle School, and a sophomore at Burnet High School. So lots of pick-up and drop-off lines. And I feel like, being involved in all the matters that affect them is of the utmost importance to me as a parent. And then the second motivation I have for being a board member is being an involved community member. My husband and I have owned a business in Burnet, combined 18 years. We first had the Mexican, and now we have Bill's Burgers. And I hear from people in all these different places, both there, and I also am a marriage and family therapist associate in town as well. And I hear concerns from many people across all these different areas about our kids and our school system, and I just want to be able to make a difference and get involved in that process. I want to be a voice that represents the public's interest. That's why.
All right, then we will move to Ms. Duke, and same question, what motivates you to want to be a school board member?
Sure, thanks. Thanks everyone for coming. I am from Bertram. We've lived there for about 20 years. My husband Woody is here, and we have one son, Bryce. He is a 2021 graduate of Burnet High School and went to Bertram Elementary and all the way up through school. So if you've known me for more than 30 seconds, you've heard a Bryce story. And I got involved in the schools as Amber did, just as a concerned mom, and really grew to love the entire community that way and all of the kids. So I want to serve, the main reason I want to serve on the school board, and the main reason I already am serving on the school board, is that I am very committed to making sure that all of our kids are well cared for and have the best opportunities that they possibly can. I've served on numerous committees for BCISD, starting in the elementary school with the PTO, et cetera. Served as a band mom on some officer capabilities there, yay band. And then also have served on District Advisory Committee, the Bond Oversight Committee, and some of the more strategic committees. So have learned a lot about the school system, and I think I can help. I think I have a lot to bring to the table there.
All right, thank you, Ms. Duke. Then, just out of fairness, we probably should go back and forth. And so I'm going to go back to Ms. Duke for the next question.
Okay.
And second question is, what particular skills or experiences qualify you to serve as a school board member?
Sure. As I mentioned before, I have a number of past services that I've provided to the school system. I've served on, again, the Bond Oversight Committee, Strategic Planning Committee, and then a number of student organizations as well. I do have a lot of ties to the community, and I have a special place in my heart for Bertram and some of the other outlying areas. So I feel like they need to have a voice on the board as well. It is a consolidated school district, and we're all part of the gym, as we've heard a lot of times. So I want to make sure that everybody's voice is heard there. Through my service to BCISD, I've gained quite a bit of insight over the years. I've seen the challenges that our educators have. I've seen the challenges that our students have. Some of them don't come from the greatest homes. Some of them are not even eating enough. And teachers have to handle all of that, have to handle the diminishing budgets that we are all talking about. And all of that together, there are a lot of challenges, so I think I have a head start with my background here to be in a unique position to help. I also have a business background, so I am accustomed to handling large budgets and managing people, managing through attrition and sourcing and things like that. So I think I have some things to bring to the table. Thank you.
All right, same question, Ms. Cardenas. What particular skills or experiences qualify you to serve as a school board member?
Thank you. The two skills that I believe qualify me to be a board member are my people skills and business skills. Being a marriage and family therapy associate therapist, basically in essence is understanding people and how to help them get along better. And I think that would obviously be a useful skill to have in a group setting. Anytime we're discussing matters and going over budgets and going over difficult tasks, being able to relate well to other people and understand their concerns and concerns of the public, and being able to talk to people and really hear what they have to say has a lot to do with being an effective board member, in my opinion. I also have experience running business. I have worn many hats over the years with our restaurant business, from human resource manager to tax filing to budget concerns to, food ordering, and I could go on and on. There's multiple things that we do on a daily basis to own and operate our business. And I believe that my hands-on experience as a business owner would be a good resource for making me be able to take a practical and responsible approach to fiscal decisions that the board would be facing. I can analyze things and be able to really provide practical insight and make good financial decisions and be able to use the business experience that I've gained over all these years.
All right.
Maybe it's me?
Then we'll stay with
getting
Ms.
the hang of it.
Cardenas.
We'll learn by the end.
And so if elected as a trustee, what would be your top 3 priorities?
Okay. My first priority would be being willing to learn and ask questions about any of the items that we go over that I don't understand. As a newly elected board member, there will be issues that I've not been previously made aware of, and I will do all the research and spend time reading up on all of the tasks and all the topics beforehand, so that if I don't understand, I can ask intelligent questions and I can be ready to respond and know what's going on so I can make informed decisions. Another priority would be setting the direction for the district and keeping the focus on high-quality education and on our students' well-being. That's of utmost importance. I think we already do a pretty good job in that area of, like students' safety, and I want to continue to make sure that that's a priority that's focused on. And last, I think I've kind of already mentioned it, but my priority would be representing the public's interest. That means being open and communicating with parents and faculty and teachers and all the people involved in our community about issues that affect them and determining the best way to meet their needs.
All right, Ms. Duke, same question. What would be your top 3 priorities as a trustee?
Sure. I think the first one is the improvement of academic performance, and really what that encompasses, the sourcing and retention of educators is key to that. We need to keep the great teachers that we have. We need to be very competitive in getting the very best talent that we can to help our kids. And also continued excellence in financial stewardship. I think the citizens of Burnet County and BCISD area, not just Burnet County, but some of Llano County too, deserve excellent stewardship. And I think that we're already working very hard on that. I think we do a great job of that right now, but I want to make sure that that continues as things get more challenging with the financial landscape that we're dealing with as school districts. The second thing is school safety, and I mean that in every sense of the word, from preventing bullying to providing a conducive learning environment for all of our students, making sure our kids are well cared for when they get to school, that they're receiving enough food and anything that they need to be their best self, and then being all the way to being ready to defend against attackers if we need to. So that's quite a huge undertaking in and of itself. And I want to make sure that we continue the great programs that we're already known for. The agricultural programs, the FFA, 4-H, the fine arts programs are very important to me, obviously. The vocational programs, I'd like to see us continue and expand on those programs. And then, of course, the sports and academic competitions that we're already doing a great job in.
All right, then we'll stay with Ms. Duke. And the fourth question, if you had the sole power to change one thing, what would you change and why? And I'm presuming we're not going for, world peace or, world hunger, anything like that, as a trustee.
That's so funny because that's exactly what I told my husband I was going to say, world peace. I think I would go to Dr. Pena's example of of Robin Hood. I would like to do away with Robin Hood, or get some more help from the state. Unfortunately, I don't think that's likely to be something that I'm going to have direct impact over. So as a board member, you don't have sole power to change anything. You're a team. You're a team of 8. So I want to work the best I can with that team. We have some excellent board members already. Just providing additional dynamics to the decision making, I think, would be something that I can bring to the table. But my interest is in improving academic performance while maintaining what we already do so well, and then continuing to make sure that our students come out of BCISD ready to adult, ready to be productive members of society, college, career, and military ready.
All right, Ms. Cardenas, same question. If you had the sole power to change one thing, what would you change and why?
Yeah, I feel like I need to have the preface that she also put on there, like, I do not believe I have the sole power to change anything myself. It's definitely a group, a board decision only, not an individual. But assuming that I had the power to change something, I would go for a maybe controversial topic, and I would ban cell phones. And I mean all the way across all campuses, all the phones, all the students. And I've heard from numerous teachers and faculty that the policies that we currently have on our books don't work, that they're not effective, and that they spend most of their day getting kids to stop playing with their phones under the table or meet each other in the bathrooms to vape, or, all sorts of undesirable behavior. So I would look into districts that have implemented the pouches that students put phones in and keep them disabled and locked throughout the day, and Studies have shown a 6% increase in test scores for schools that implemented these stricter bans. So talking about improving test performances, improving our students' performance in school, I think it would be an effective way to do that. And I'm fully aware that it is a controversial topic and some parents would not agree with me, and I would be happy to sit down and discuss it and learn more about their position. But for me, I think it would be an effective thing to do, and if I had the chance, I would do it.
All right, thank you.
Oh, maybe me.
So we have one more question, and we'll go to Ms. Cardenas. And the last question is, with the growth that Burnet has seen and will see in the future, where do you see Burnet Consolidated Independent School District in 5 years?
Sure. I put some statistics on my piece of paper here, but I feel like it's completely unnecessary because we are all fully aware that Burnet County is growing and is going to continue to grow, and our school district is going to continue to grow at a fairly rapid rate for the next really long time probably, but let's just focus on, 5 years as given in the question. I think that our school district, what that means to focus on is working continuously to attract, support, and develop and retain highly effective staff in all departments, making sure that we have all of the resources that we need, and as the school board, making decisions that's going to get us there. And that has many different facets, many different areas to focus on, but just keeping that focus on keeping and exceeding expectations for the quality of education we're providing for our students. In 5 years, I see Burnet CISD as a district that will be providing safe and supportive learning environment for our kids, providing staff and faculty with resources to provide a great education, and meeting our goal of preparing students to lead successful lives and be prepared for their future.
All right, Ms. Duke, same question. With the growth, where do you see BCISD in 5 years?
All right. So I interpreted this question a lot more literally, so interesting. I see an additional elementary or two, possibly a middle school, or I know there's been conversation about like a 5th and 6th grade center. And I'm a real estate agent, so we need to be buying land now. I see us having our own police force possibly as BCISD. I see that we will definitely have to have at least one bond election during that time, maybe 2. And I think we have a good head start because, again, we're very fiscally responsible as a district. We are planning for growth. We are having the conversations. Keith and the board have already started, have been in constant conversation with county and city leaders in Bertram and Burnet about where can we put schools, what growth are we seeing, and how can we get ahead of that. The district is doing a great job of spending time with demographers and learning about where the growth might come from and how can we best plan for that. And I think we just need to continue that while being fiscally responsible.
All right, and then I'm not sure if you were supposed to have an opportunity to just address the crowd, but I think giving you a moment to address the crowd with anything you'd like to say would probably be the right thing to do at this point. And so I'll let you go first, Ms. Duke.
Okay, thank you. So I just want to thank you all for coming out. I'd be very honored to have your vote. I really love serving on the school district. I was invited to apply to serve an unexpired term and thought I would like it and thought I would enjoy it, but I really do love it. I love celebrating the students' successes, and I think I can bring a lot to the table to help with the challenges that we have. So I'm not afraid of hard work. Sounds like Amber isn't either. And I think we have a great, promising future. I am very proud to be a Burnet Bulldog, and I hope you'll consider voting for me.
And Ms. Cardenas, you have the mic at this point, so go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Since we didn't really do an introduction, I do feel like I know a lot of people in this room, but maybe not everybody on camera or wherever. But I am a Burnet Bulldog. I've lived here my entire life, minus 6 years. I went to school here all 12 years. I love being a Burnet Bulldog. I have 4 Burnet Bulldogs now in our schools, and I just, I was telling Katie before this started, I think it's great that we have two people wanting to come up here and do this and be in an unpaid volunteer position to help our schools. So I don't think there's a wrong way to vote in our election. I think we're both people who care, and I think we're both people that are going to work hard and do what we can to help our district. So whatever way you vote, please go out and vote. I think it's really important to do that, especially in this election for our city council and our school board. So I would very much appreciate your vote, and I appreciate your time.
All right, then thank you to both of you, and I need to apologize because if you were supposed to have an opportunity to speak before the questions, I didn't give you that opportunity, so I apologize.
You had enough of us already. We're all good.
So at this point, if we could have the city council candidates come up. All right, so we have our city council candidates, and I have to get my order right. If you're watching on YouTube, from left to right, we have Mr. Philip Thurman, we have Mr. Zach Neely, we have Mr. Tommy Gott, we have Mr. Dennis Langley, and we have Mr. Anthony Francisco. And I believe there's one candidate, a Cindy Telemontes, who is not here tonight. And so the questions will go to each of the five of you. And what I'll do is I'll start with Mr. Thurman, and then the next question will start with Mr. Neely, and so forth. And so since I forgot on the first group of candidates, Mr. Thurman, if you'd like to have a minute to introduce yourself or say whatever it is you'd like to say, we'll get into the questions after everyone has that opportunity.
Thank you. I want to start by recognizing my wife over here. Without her, I couldn't be doing this. She puts up with me. I'm gone probably 3 or 4 nights a week doing stuff like this, and she's great about it. I also want to thank the people who've come out to support me as well. And thank you for the chamber for putting this on so I can get my message out. And you know, when people approach me, they say, I just wish, somebody would hear me, and if I need help, I want help. And I can tell you, I am pro-citizen, pro-business, and pro-Burnet. And what that means is that I'm motivated to let you have the best experience you can with the city. And that's what motivates me. So come by and get information off my table. It's a push card of what I believe in, and it's the answers that I've written down. So if you want to go back and see how I answered my questions, they're sitting on my table. Thank you.
All right. Then second is Mr. Zach Neely.
Hello, everyone. My name is Zach Neely. A little bit about myself. I was born here in Burnet, and like I said, don't hold this against me, but I was raised in Lampasas. So after I went to school down at A&M Corpus and was a teacher for 4 years, me and my wife both. And after teaching for several years, I ended up, because it's tough, to, like Dr. Pena was saying, with the pay raise and everything, support a family. So we ended up moving to Houston, and I went to work for ExxonMobil, and I was there for several years. And that was kind of the opposite end of the spectrum from Burnet, in the sense that it is Houston, and I'm not a city person. I found that out quick. And I was offered the opportunity to come back here to Burnet, my hometown, in a sense. and worked for Camp Longhorn. And I've been working for Camp Longhorn now for coming up on 5 years as a director out there.
Mr. Neely, you're out of time. I apologize. Hate to cut you off.
Absolutely.
All right. And so next we have Mr. Tommy Gott.
Hi, I'm Tommy Gott, and it's a privilege to be standing here as a candidate for your city council. I moved here about 12 years ago with my wife. I guess some of the personal things. I've got one daughter. I have 3 grandkids, 1 great grandkid. Can you believe it? And 1 on the way. I've been retired now for about 10 years. I retired after working 35 years in the computer industry. Once I retired, I still had a need to stay busy and stay active, so I got involved with the city. I've been on the Planning and Zoning Commission for 10 years. I've been the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission for 5. I'm also on the Board of Adjustments. I've been on that for 2 years. I've been the chair for 2 years. I'm anxious to become your city councilman, and I look forward to working for you.
All right. And next we have Mr. Dennis Langley.
Howdy, my name is Dennis Langley. I am looking to be reelected to city council, and I think I know most of you people here, but I would like you to know that I have enjoyed serving on council, working with the city staff, city manager David Vaughn, and I think the last 2 years I've been on city council, I think we've done some good things, and I'd like to continue to do those good things. We've, got the CPR vest for the EMS and fire department. We, got the things that the police department needs to keep everybody safe, the citizens, and I really enjoy it, and I hope to get your vote. All right, thank you.
And last on the ballot, I'm told that's the order that you're seated in, is going to be Mr. Anthony Francisco, and so you were not picked last. That's just how it turned out.
Yes,
so you get to go
yes. I'm number 5 on the ballot, everyone. I'm Anthony Francisco. This August will be 30 years that we've been in Burnet. I left Burnet for 6 years for college and to work, to come back and walk through many facets of Burnet, whether it was manufacturing production, with the family company, or working for Seton Highland Lakes, then just eventually work myself outside of the corporate world to work for myself. I enjoy Burnet. I love Burnet, and everything, I guess, that's going on right here on this forum, and Chamber of Commerce, everything they're doing, Commissioner Byerly, Judge Stubbs, and the new Secretary Maria Gonzalez and Kelly Dix. Like, everything you guys do is just very inspirational to come out here and want to serve you guys, but as well the community. So vote for me as your councilman. Thank you.
All right. So if you want to hand the microphone down, we'll start with Mr. Thurman. First question: what motivates you to want to be on city council?
That's a great question. People ask me that all the time. They say, hey, Thurman, why do you do all this stuff? You don't get paid for it. And I'm like, I know, but you know what? When you do things that you like, you don't think it's work. And I'm motivated to be involved. And you can do 3 things. You can get involved, you can do nothing, or you can complain. And so I'm choosing to be involved, and I'm motivated to do things like get the why, get its funding in shape, and the why is a great example of how we've, turned that around. Getting involved with the community, that's the motivation. You do what you like. You do the things that you like, and we all do that. And I like doing this, and I've been doing this for 10 years. I'm your current Mayor Pro Tem, and I think that I have the experience to know how to get things done for you. This isn't about us. This is about you guys. This is about you guys getting the candidate that's going to do what they can for you. It's not the other way around. And it took me a while to figure that out, but I finally did. I'm not always that smart about things, but I am motivated to keep doing these things for you guys, making Burnet better.
All right. Thank you. Then same question, Mr. Neely. What motivates you to want to be on the city council?
So what motivates me to be on city council is Burnet's growing at a faster rate than I believe ever before. And the whole reason coming back to Burnet for me and my wife and family is to raise our family here. And I would like to see Burnet keep its small town atmosphere. You mentioned, Burnet, Bastrop used to look like Burnet, and that kind of stuck with me when you said that, because I want Burnet to look like Burnet in 10 years. Not saying that growth isn't going to happen. There's no way to stop it. It will happen. But I want Burnet to grow the right way and get the things in Burnet that are good for Burnet and the citizens of Burnet. And also with, with the way the economy is going, it's, house prices are crazy right now, and everything's going crazy. And I want it to be affordable to the citizens that live here in Burnet, and I want to put citizens first here in Burnet. And as far as I'm concerned, if I wanted to live in Cedar Park, I'd be there, and I'm okay with driving 45 minutes for the things that aren't necessities. I want to keep Burnet a small town.
Then, Mr. Gott, same question to you. What motivates you to want to have this job?
I guess first and foremost, I have a deep commitment to the community, and I want to serve. I believe in local government and how local government can impact our everyday life, and it's the local government's responsibility to ensure our quality of life. I want to be an advocate for all the voices. I want to be proactive. I want to listen. And as mentioned, Burnet is growing, but we need to ensure that growth is sustainable, that it does maintain our quality of life as we expect it, and is able to adapt to the challenges that we just, as of now, we don't see. There will be numerous challenges as it grows. So I want to be that person for you to help facilitate change. I want to bring new ideas, new thoughts, new leadership, and I hope to be your candidate. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Langley, same question to you. What motivates you to want this position?
Well, I had the same issue. The reason I got on the first time was City of Burnet was growing, and it was growing entirely too fast. And, we do need to grow. Growth is great for the city because, if we don't have a tax base, tax rates are going to go up because the city has to make the money to be able to run. And to keep all the privileges, that the city gives the citizens, we have to have that money. But I do want to keep the hometown feel. I do want to grow, sustainably and responsibly. That's the biggest deal. But, I enjoy, dealing with the public. I enjoy working with the city. So I hope to be reelected, and thank you.
And Mr. Francisco, what motivates you to want this position?
I'm motivated for this position because transformation motivates me. Be able to transform with this town, with the local residents and the local developmental stakeholders is very crucial to work with them and not be an adversary to them, but to work with them. So my motivation would be to make sure Burnet is transforming and moving forward in the right, correct way and for the people. Thank you.
All right, then for the next question, we'll start with Mr. Neely. And so, Mr. Neely, what particular skills and experiences qualify you to serve on the city council if elected?
Okay, so particular skills and experiences. So in a way, I'm kind of already on a city council as a management position at Camp Longhorn. We have a small city of about 750 people. The only difference is it switches out about every 2 weeks, and we got a big turnaround. But we have our own, water and pretty much everything that you would have in a city we have out there. Very similar. And so also working at ExxonMobil, I was a turnaround specialist. So what that is, they shut down the plant for a certain amount of time and you swap everything out. So I have a lot of experience kind of across the board with different aspects of construction. and kind of know what goes into that and different things. So I feel like I'm pretty well-rounded between the camp and the ExxonMobil experience and being a teacher and a coach as well.
All right, Mr. Gott, same question. What particular skills and experience qualify you to serve on the city council?
Well, I guess first, since I've been on the planning and zoning for almost 10 years and in the chair for 5, I've gained an insight to how the city works and what really goes into building and managing the city. I bring to the position 25 years of senior management experience. I've been responsible for projects nationally and internationally in areas like anti-corruption, human resource development, re-engineering businesses to perform more cost effectively. I feel that I can bring those skills to this position to help be the leader that the city needs. You know, the city staff has been able to do their jobs as the best they can, and they're doing a great job. That's one of the things I've learned in being on the planning and zoning, and I've come to appreciate that and the fine work that the city staff provides. What they need is they need a city council that provides the leadership and unbiased decision making. My commitment to you is I will be that leader. Thank you.
And Mr. Langley, same question. What particular skills or experience qualify you to be on city council?
Well, I've been a small business owner for well over 30 years, and I think that gives me the experience to, you know, financially to be responsible and to help the city, you know, go in the right direction. And also, you know, we're trying to, like I said, we're trying to keep the city running, but we also have to be able to not only, you know, work for the citizens, but for the employees of the city, you know. And so we have to keep in mind that along with keeping, you know, financially safe, we also have to let the employees know that we're going to take care of them. And we also have to realize that I've been on council for about 2 years now, and I think we've got one of the best places in Texas to live here in Burnet, and we want to keep it that way. We want to keep the tax rate where we can, but still give the citizens as much as we can for their tax money. All right, thank you.
And Mr. Francisco, same question. What particular skills or experience qualify you to serve on city council?
The skills and experiences, I'll sit there and say I'm always in school. From being from college to now, it's always sitting, knowing, and understanding, you know, where you're at and what room you're in. You know, the reason I'm here is because Philip, you know, I went ahead and did some research of how do I get involved in Burnet. I sat with Philip, and Philip went ahead and pointed me to the directions of how I could be more involved in Burnet. So that helps me bring along with my skill set and experience of being a team player, putting the extra hours in, doing the research, and figuring things out to make sure things are just transparent and relevant for the community.
Then, Mr. Thurman, you get to answer the question as well. Would you like me to repeat it?
No, sir.
Okay.
So, you know, the skills that I have, some people out here that I'm looking at, they may say I don't have any skills. There's one right there. He just raised his hand. Look at him right there. But, you know, no, I'll tell you what, I've small business. I've run a engineering software company for a long time, and I know what it's like to have customers and make those customers happy. And, you know, all the hours that it takes to do that. But more importantly, I know what this job is, and I know what it isn't. And it is strategic planning for the city and budgeting. Those are the two things that really our charter spells out that that's what the city council is supposed to do. Create the strategic vision for the city and then make sure that it can happen with its funding. It's not about managing people. It's not about running this department or that. It's about strategic planning and budgeting. And I think I do those things very well. On my table over there, I have a strategic plan that I wrote for the city. And what does that mean? Well, it just means that I've gone through the whole process of understanding every department in the city and writing a strategic plan for it. So I do think I have skills that apply to this job. And even though that maybe some of these guys back here don't think I do, but I disagree with you. Thank you.
All right. So for our third question, we'll start with Mr. Gott. And that question is, if you had the sole power to change one thing, what would you change and why?
I think that one thing is to have a system, a procedure, or maybe an environment that invites more citizen participation in local government. I think it's great that we have, well, five on the panel, that we have 6 candidates who are running. This is not always the case. There have been times in which the election was canceled because there were only 3 candidates or so, and so therefore it wasn't necessary to engage in community dialogue, to be able to get feedback, from the citizens. I'd like to see more citizens participating with the commissions. I know on the two commissions that I sit on, there are open vacancies. And maybe at a minimum, I'd like to see more citizens at the city council meetings. It really is interesting to see, if you sit through and see the dialogue and the deliberation and the issues. It really is an eye opener as to what goes into not just running the city, but how do we best serve the citizens? So I want to be, at least for those that aren't serving, I want to be that advocate for you. And I want to be open, all opinions and ideas are welcome. One of the things I learned in management is that diversity of ideas always leads to a positive outcome. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Langley, same thing. If you had the sole power to change one thing, what would you change and why?
Well, unfortunately, it would out of our control, but I think the biggest problem right now is our traffic situation in the heart of the city. Unfortunately, that is a TxDOT problem. It's not something we can change. But I believe that the city and the city staff is doing their best to get with TxDOT and do everything, let TxDOT know our concerns and press them to make changes. Unfortunately, it's not going to, there's nothing more we can do. But that being said, I would like to talk to the, small business owners that are down around the square. Everybody says we need more dining, more entertainment. Well, I believe our historical square is the place we could do that. So that is one thing I would like to change. Let's get, stuff moving down there. It seems like it's kind of gone stale. The EDC with the winery down there has done a great job. I think we need to take up where they left off and just keep going forward. And hopefully in the next couple of years we can get that done. All right, thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Francisco, same question. What would you change and why?
What would I change? I'll change the level of transparency of how funds are weaponized. It's just, there has to be just all across the board a control of, not control, but I guess a transparency of how funds are weaponized for our stakeholders in our community. And that would be the main one for why are we purchasing? Why do we have this? How are we using our funds and the things we have to create more wealth for our community? And so that's what I would change.
Then Mr. Thurman, same question. What would you change and why?
Yeah, that's a good question. If I could, I would reduce the operating cost of the city to 0 so it wouldn't cost you anything to live here. But that's one of the answers that you said we couldn't do. So a more realistic answer is I wish that it would take not as much time to get things done. It seems like when we start and we identify a problem and then we fund it and then we make sure that it's legally, correct, satisfies everybody, and then make sure that the funding, it might be in this year or next year, and then we go do it. That might take a year. It might take, I wish we could do like we did when we had kids at home and said, go clean your room, and they did it right then. But that's not how it works in government. Government is slower, and I've had to learn over the years that government's slower on purpose. It's just the nature of the beast. So you got to get it right. I wish we could speed it up because, you know, we look at these projects that take forever. You know, we got funding for the roads 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and now it's happening. We get funding for the city hall. We've been trying to get city hall built for 20 years. I just wish that we can compress this time, and there are ways to do that. We just have to be committed to it. So compressing the time that it takes to get things done for you guys, because ultimately you guys are the benefit of those things. So that's what I wish we could change, make it faster. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Neely, same question. What would you change and why?
Well, I tell my kids to go clean the room, but that's not the way it works. So I'm glad I got to do this question last because I really struggled with this one. Honestly, there's not, obviously, we as a city council member, there's nothing we can change on our own. I don't think Burnet needs any drastic changes, but as Councilman Langley was saying, and you know, Thurman and everyone up here was saying, there's a bunch of little things that need to be changed, and I would like, you know, to see some more growth and the right growth, and have, you know, of course, the square, you know, look like a, you know, come alive again. It is kind of stagnant down there, and there's been some forward movement in that, and things do need to get a little bit quicker on some of that movement, and the city can help in those areas. You know, and you mentioned traffic. You know, I went to the Bluebonnet Festival this weekend, and I'm not a crowd person. You know, I'm not a Disney World guy because I just can't take that many people and feeling the claustrophobia of it. And we had to park about 4 or 5 blocks away, which is a good thing. It's a lot of growth and business coming into Burnet, and that's awesome. But at the same time, you know, it'd be nice to have some parking. You know, but yeah, so not any one thing specific in drastic changes, but listen to the people of Burnet and find out, you know, what they want and make those changes as they come up.
All right. Then for our fourth question, we'll start with Mr. Langley. With the projected growth and the growth that's occurring, where do you see the city of Burnet in 5 years?
Well, I believe with the leadership we have and the nature of the citizens, I think Burnet is still going to be the best place to live in 5, 10 years. Now, grant you, it's going to grow, and unfortunately, Austin is moving this away. But we're fortunate that our leaders have got to watch places like Liberty Hill and Dripping Springs, and, you know, so yeah, we're still going to have issues. But I think, you know, that being said, I think that the city workers and the council kind of know what's coming. And so, you know, I hope it's not in 5 years. I hope we get to stay a small community. And I hope to see the community be able to, you know, have more retail shops, more dining in 5 years. You know, I hope it doesn't take that long. But at the rate things are going, you know, it moves pretty slow. So I do think that the city is going to grow. There's no way we're going to stop that. But I think it's still going to be one of the best places to live in Texas. All right, thank you.
And Mr. Francisco, same question. With growth in particular, where do you see the city of Burnet in 5 years?
On 5 years, particularly in the first 1 to 4 years, I see Burnet as a place that's going to continue to build strong foundations with everyone in support of the community, working on boards, serving, voting. We can continue to have a firm foundation for Burnet to grow into that 5 years. So when we do get those spurs and we do, you know, absorb those extra people, it'll look like we're professionals and we've been doing it all along. And we can do it with open arms and continue to be Burnet, you know, kind and loving and great. Thank you.
Then Mr. Thurman, same question, particularly with growth. Where do you see Burnet in 5 years?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think everybody talks about the growth. We know it's coming. And, you know, it's going to impact our life. It's going to attack the way we live. But it's not all bad. So how do you turn that growth into something good? And you do that by using the money from the growth to, you know, grow the city in the way that you want. And what does that mean? Well, it means that we have to plan for the growth. We can't just sit back and wait for it. We have to actively, strategically plan for the growth. And don't get caught, you know, what they say with your pants down, because that's what these other cities have done. They've just let the growth come in and overwhelm them, and then they have, you know, horrible traffic problems, or, you know, they have growth that they can't sustain, or they have, you know, developments that end up, you know, looking like crap in 10 years. We don't want that. So you have to plan for all these things. We really have to plan for the growth. And if we don't do that, that's our fault. And you can blame us, and you shouldn't vote us back into office. But the growth is coming, and if we're not planning for it, shame on us. And we need to use the money that comes with growth to make sure that we build the infrastructure to handle the growth in the way they want. So to summarize it, I'll say managed growth. That's what we need. We need to plan for it and manage it and build what we want, not what just comes and lands in Burnet. We don't want that. So that's my position on how I see Burnet in 5 years. And I hope it goes faster than I think in terms of us being able to plan for it. Thank you.
Mr. Neely, same question to you.
Same question. So just like Mr. Thurman was saying, the growth is going to come and we have to plan for it. And at the same time, like Mr. Langley said, Burnet's in a fortunate situation where we're just far enough from Austin that we can see it coming our way. So we do have that you know, foresight there because of our distance. Whereas Liberty Hill, you know, in those areas, with interest rates like they were in that timing 4 or 5 years ago, it happened so fast there was no time to catch up with it. And so depending on Burnet 5 years from now and 10 years from now, it could look like a very different picture depending on those interest rates and if they drop. So it's really difficult to see where Burnet is in 5 years because that's out of our hands at the local level. But hopefully Burnet, like Mr. Thurman says, grows in the right way, and we, you know, it's on our conditions as to what kind of businesses we get in here and what kind of growth happens.
All right, then Mr. Gott, same question. Where do you see Burnet in 5 years?
Well, I think it's unanimous. Growth is coming. So now, so the way I prepared myself, and it's kind of nice being last on the questions. The way I'd prepared myself is I was going to say, where's Burnet going to be in 5 years? Well, that depends. It depends upon what we do today. It depends upon how we look at our water resources. How about our affordable housing? How about our infrastructure? You know, not just the roads, but what about, you know, power? The water system, not water, when I say water resource, I'm talking about having access to water. Well, what about getting that water to your homes? So I think what becomes key then is that your responsibility as voters is to pick the right people for the job, to vote in a city council that has the skills and the ability to plan for the growth, to get your input to ensure that everybody benefits from that. And something I like to echo from is the hometown. You know, we can grow and we can still be a hometown. But if we let the growth overwhelm us, and let me tell you, it can happen fast. Look how fast in the last couple of years Liberty Hill has grown. And it's interesting that Liberty Hill finally got their second fire station. You know, things like that can happen too fast, and so my vision is that we are going to be prepared to do that. Thank you.
Then, Mr. Francisco, you finally get to go first, so congratulations. Last question is, being on city council requires teamwork. Give us an example of when you have worked as a team.
As a team, there's many things from being a collegiate athlete to being a member of many startups to also being involved in many large transactions with investment brokering. And so if it comes to teamwork, it's just allowing everyone to use their strengths and working with those strengths to create unity, not uniformity. And so I like to bring that dynamic to lead when I need to lead and be quiet when I need to be quiet, but also always showing up and dedicating myself to whatever I commit myself to, and that's team. Thank you.
Then, Mr. Thurman, same question. Give us an example of when you have worked on a team.
All right, well, about a year ago, I was on a golf team out at Delaware, and we won last place. So that's really not the kind of team I want to be on. Teamwork is about doing and being part of a solution. And so as it relates to, the city, I've been on a team that back in the day with Ken Graham and David, and we remodeled Galloway Hammond, and we turned that place into a very nice workout center, and we handed it over to the Y. And that was we were taking about a $500,000 hit a year on that, and we turned it into an incredible facility for the people of Burnet. It's an example. Another example is I worked for years to try to get the golf course budget under control. It was over $500,000 a year, and you guys were paying for it. And some of you don't even play golf. So now that budget is right side up. It's in the black, and you're not having to subsidize the golf course anymore. It runs on its own operational budget, which is incredible. I see people out here that worked with me on the My Town project where we took all these homes and we cleaned them up and we turned those into good homes. And you talk about a teamwork effort. There were builders, there were realtors, there were bankers, there was a city, an incredible team effort. And the last thing I want to talk about is the Community Coalition. It was a dream of mine to create a group that had a member from the city, the chamber, the EDC, and tourism. And we have that group now, and we focus on one thing with all our resources, and we get it done. And one of those things is the square. And you can see the concert series we've been having to revitalize the square and bring interest to the square. So those are just a few things that I've done over the 10 years that involves myself in a team. Thank you.
Then, Mr. Neely, same question. Give us an example of when you have worked on a team.
All right, so my position at Camp Longhorn is all about teamwork, and like I said earlier, we get 750-ish kids every 2 weeks there, and it's impossible to manage it by yourself. We have a team of directors at just our location that's roughly around 7 or 8 directors that we work with, and part of being on a team is you have a lot of different personalities, and also you're not always going to get what you want. You're going to have, it's a lot of give and take, and I do that on a basis all the time where it's what is best for the team, and that's something that I'd like to do as a city council member. It's not about me as a city councilman and what's best for me, but what's best for the citizens of Burnet, and what are their voices saying, whether it be something is to sometimes have to give in to your own personal motivations in that sense. But I look forward and I hope to be on the city council team here in Burnet and serve the people of Burnet.
And Mr. Gott, same thing, just discuss teamwork and your experience.
Before I retired, I served on many projects, as I mentioned, both national and international, and deliver projects to customers. By default, you have to be able to work with teams. Both not just in leading teams, but also being a collaborative team member. Being the chairman of the Planning and Zoning and the Board of Adjustments, I have to work with my fellow commissioners as well as with city staff. More specifically, as an example, I would say is the recent passage of the short-term rental ordinance. That was a situation where the city council put together a very thorough, thoughtful ordinance draft to address both the needs of the community as well as the needs of business interests. I led several public hearings on the matter as part of the plan and zoning, and then later I participated in a workshop with city council. We had to work through issues of community concerns. Council had concerns, so did city staff. But together through several workshops, we were able to come to a reasonable agreement, and that ordinance finally passed. It passed with 4-3, but still, passage does prove that we can work together to come to an outcome that benefits everybody. Thank you.
And Mr. Langley, same question. Give an example of when you've worked on a team.
Well, I've worked on many teams. I haven't always been self-employed, but here recently, for the last 2 years, on city council with, Philip and a few of these others. And, dealing with some of these hard heads, you got to be on a team. And so I'm going to tell you right now, we got the ball rolling for the new city council chambers and the city building. And between the city and the city staff, it took a lot to get that going. And I think that we did a good job there. I also served on the committee. We had 10 contractors bid on that job. We spent, I don't know how many days and how many hours going through all those, with the team to pick a contractor. And it took some doing. It took many hours, out of your day. But we got it done, and I think, I've had plenty of experience working with teams. All right, thank you.
All right, then Mr. Francisco, we'll let you go first, and each of you are going to have 1 minute to make some closing remarks if you would like.
Again, I'm number 5 on the ballot, Anthony Francisco. And thank you again for coming out, supporting us. And I just would love to continue to be committed to this community and to its stakeholders in everything that we're moving towards. And I just want to dedicate myself to continue to be a part of this community. So going forward, I'm just gonna stay involved. Whether I'm elected or not, I'd like your vote, but I'm gonna stay involved in this community because it's home. So let's keep making this home. Thank you.
And Mr. Langley, we'll let you go next.
All right, once again, my name is Dennis Langley. I'm seeking re-election to City Council, and I would appreciate you to get out and vote. I do appreciate everybody who came in tonight, everybody watching on Facebook, and I just want to let you know, the last 2 years I've really enjoyed working with the city and the councilmen, getting things done. I hope to be re-elected. I hope you go out. I hope to get your vote. Thank you.
Mr. Gott, your turn.
Yes, and I'm Tommy Gott, and I want to first thank the chamber, Allison in particular. It's great that we were able to do this, and particularly with the live streaming. I think this may be the first time where everybody can get a chance to see us and maybe replay some of the highlights. I'm very thankful that I have the opportunity to express my vision and to ask for your vote. My commitment is to serve you, to listen to you, and I also invite you to work with me. Thank you.
And Mr. Neely.
All right, Zach Neely. I would love your vote, and as a council member in Burnet, I'll make the promise to serve the people of Burnet and listen to the issues and do my very best as a councilman. This is where we've decided to put our roots here, back here, and raise our family. And my intentions are to serve and give back to the community of Burnet that's given a lot to me as well. And so appreciate everybody, the chamber, for putting this on, and everybody for coming out and watching live stream, and thank you all very much.
And Mr. Thurman.
So I'm the most qualified person up here, and it's because I'm the oldest. So Yeah, that's kind of funny. No, I've been doing this a long time, and you know, I do want your vote, and I'm asking you to vote for me on May 4th during the election day or early voting. But I'll tell you this: I've consistently had your interest in mind on everything I do. It's about the citizens of Burnet, and what will it do for them? Is it going to benefit them or not? And that's always how I look at every issue. Is it going to benefit you or not? And, you know, in closing, I want you to remember that when you go to vote. It's not about us. It's about you guys getting the person that you need to sit on the council to get what you want. Thank you.
Then thank you to all of you for your willingness to put yourself out there, and I think you all did a great job. Next, we will go to our county commissioners.
Is it on? Okay.
All right, so our next office, we have the Precinct 3 County Commissioners race, which is Mr. Chad Collier, who is here tonight to answer the questions. And we also have Mr. Homer Will, who is not in attendance to my knowledge. And so, Mr. Collier, I'm going to turn it over to you, give you a moment to introduce yourself, and then we'll run through the questions.
All right. Well, I guess this will be pretty rapid fire. It was a little different when we were here last time. We were 5 deep. But a little bit about me. I've lived in Burnet County for over 30 years. I went to school in Bertram, graduated from Burnet. I've owned a business for over 24 years now. So that kind of gives me the role of basically some of the same roles as running for commissioner. The planning, the budgets, the construction. We work for TxDOT. We work for military bases. We work for school districts from Orlando, Burnet, Moore Falls. We did telecom infrastructure, so we put it in the ground. We know all the construction, and as well as inside. I've worked customer service with people, having to work as a team with people, and that's pretty much it. Thanks.
All right, then we'll get to the first question. It is, why are you running for county commissioner, and what are your skills that you believe qualify you for the position?
Well, first, it's kind of to piggyback off of Mr. Thurman. I've always kind of had a desire to run and serve people. And now with a business in place where I have personnel to take care of that, and in my place in life, I've decided it was time for me to, fulfill that obligation or that dream that I kind of always had. And it was what he said. It's either get on the field and play ball, or sit in the stands, or stay at the home. So I decided let's get in there and play ball. The skill sets, the construction, being in construction for over 25 years, and owning the business is the planning. You're always looking ahead, trying to find the jobs, trying to keep your men busy, looking ahead with the customers that we have, budget-wise. With the budget, you're having to work with those people, working with the government entities like TxDOT, military, the school districts, where they're all on a budget. So we've got to go in and meet their budget, and then do the job as efficiently and as best as we can. The construction side of it, I've operated just about every piece of equipment there is. I know how to run crews, how to run subcontractors, how to manage them, how to get guys going, how to motivate them without, you need to be a leader instead of just a pusher, you go out there and show them what you can do first, and they will follow. You know, be a good example. And so that kind of falls into that same role as what a commissioner does. He's got a budget, he's got a plan, and he's got to manage the people.
All right, second question is, other than running a road crew, what is your understanding of what a county commissioner does?
Well, we've got to set the budgets, so we've got to set those, get the departments, find the resources they need or what they're wanting, look at their budget, find it. I'm sure there's going to be some tweaks, some gives and takes. There always is in budgets. They're always going to come in high. You've got to figure out and tweak it and go over it and figure out where, we can cut, where they need it, to eventually give them the resources they need to do their jobs at all the departments.
Next question, how are you going to prioritize road construction?
That's a good one. My main focus is going to be I want to take some time, get with my foreman, and drive all of our roads and find out and set up a scale or a grading system or something from 1 to 10, 10 to 1, worst to best, best to worst, and find out which ones need the most attention right now, and then go from there. And once we get on a project, my biggest thing is mobilization. Once we mobilize everybody out to a job, let's complete it. So let's take a set, let's tell everybody about it. All right, we're going to work on this spot and get it done, and go from that away and work from our worst down to our best, and then maintain them throughout the time. And when budget doesn't allow or we run out of budget, then let's be preventive maintenance and doing the little tasks that we can do during that time.
You want to get a drink?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, everybody else got a break.
Let's fire it off and we'll get it done.
Right. Fourth question, what would be your top 3 priorities as a county commissioner?
Well, I guess they're all they're all priorities. So, you basically pick one. We're going to have to set a budget, get a budget set. That's fair to everybody, and that doesn't put a burden on the taxpayers. And I know nobody wants their taxes raised. Let's go find as much money and comb through it as we can. Planning, like everybody said before, the growth is here, especially in Precinct 3. It's right beside Liberty Hill. So I know it's coming, I see it coming. I'm pretty much out there all the time. So we're gonna have to plan for that growth coming in. And then of course our roads are a big issue. That's most people's issue is the roads. When are you gonna fix my roads? I'm like, I'm not even on the job yet. So I know that's gonna be one of the biggest priorities, maintaining them, getting the visibility up, getting some signage up. So those are the top 3 priorities.
All right. And the last question in the fastest forum ever for you is going to be, when it comes to setting and approving budgets and setting the tax rate, what experience do you have?
Well, that's where my job and as a business owner comes in. That's perfect. I have to set budgets. Practically every job we do, every year we have to sit down and say, all right, is this what we need? We've got to buy equipment. We've got to buy materials. So whether it be a job or for the business or in general, and it's your home, I've got to sit down, get a budget set, and stick to it and say, all right, well, this is how much money we have, this is how much we're going to spend. And so it pretty much correlates right with the commissioner role.
All right, so you have a minute or two. Well, heck, you just take as much time as you want. I don't think it's going to take long. Any closing remarks you'd like to make?
There's times when I get up and talk forever when I get on the roll. But like I tell most people that ask me, I'll be just like right now. I made a commitment. I come here. I'm here. I'm not. I'm here for you, for the people, and I will make that promise. I'll be there for you. I'm gonna do it with open transparency and open communications. If you need me, call me. As you can ask Lindy, my wife, my phone's on 24/7. I'm constantly shooting out emails or text at all times, day or night. That will not change. I never turn my phone off. Call me. Another thing I kind of want to get out there is some sort of mass notification, either a mass text or email, something like social media, something I can notify and keep people in the public. That's kind of their biggest thing I've been getting is we don't really know what you're doing. There's policies and stuff coming down. We don't know. I know it's all public knowledge. It's on their website. I know it's a little hard to find sometimes with it all. Kind of put that out to where I can shoot it to everybody and say, hey, this is kind of what we're going on. This is where we're working on the roads. So if you've got to be somewhere, you're going to hit some traffic right here. You're going to have some lane closures, some of that nature. That's where, going back, working with TxDOT, we have to give, 14 days of notice before we shut down a road. No matter where you're at in the state, you've got to give that notice. So that's kind of along those same lines to let people know, keep it out there where people don't have to go look and they can just kind of have it and ask and just kind of keep it out there. So, and the only other thing is close remark, please go out and vote. Early voting May 20th. On the election day, May 28th. I know it's going to be tough. Everybody's going to be wanting to go to vacation. And then we're going to have Memorial Day and then turn right on to an election day on May 28th. So please vote. I know there's not a lot of action happening on that day or in our election. And I know everybody's been bombarded with elections, but please, that's all I'm asking. Please go out and vote Chad Collier, Burnet County Commissioner, Precinct 3. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Then at this point, if we could have the tax assessor collector candidates come up. All right, so we have our candidates for the Burnet County Tax Assessor Collector position. And if you're watching on the live stream, on the left side, we have Ms. Deanne Fisher, and on the right side, we have Ms. Susan Allen. And we'll give each of you a moment to make your opening remarks, and we'll start with Ms. Fisher.
Good evening. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. I know that you're busy. Anytime we can get in front of you and talk to you, it means so much to us. My name is Deanne Fisher, and I'm seeking your vote to be the Republican nominee for Tax Assessor Collector. I possess 30 years' experience in finance, lending, and title services. The last 13 of those I've spent being your Chief Deputy Treasurer. This position has allowed me to handle all of the county money. It's given me extensive experience in not only county, but the state and federal funds, as well as the very strict reporting statutes that we must meet, being county government. My current position has also enabled me to work closely with every department within the county, the elected officials as well, and the Commissioner's Court. Basically, being elected would further the capacity in which I can serve the citizens of Burnet County. Thank you.
And Ms. Susan Allen, your opportunity to introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Susan Allen. I'm currently the Chief Deputy Tax Assessor Collector for Burnet County. I have served Burnet County in the tax office for the last 20 years. My husband and I have been married for 40 years. I have 3 children. All of them are Marble Falls high school graduates. All 3 are college graduates. I have 4 grandchildren. I have had the privilege of managing and supervising the Marble Falls tax office for the last 15 years under Sherry Frazier. And it's been a privilege. Thank you.
All All right, then first question, we'll start with Ms. Fisher. What motivates you to want to be the tax assessor?
So this was the hardest question to answer on my campaign platform. I was looking for big reasons. And really, the only reason that I want to be your tax assessor collector is the fact that I love Burnet County. This is my home. This is where I grew up. This is where I met my husband at Burnet High School, Randall. We've been married for 37 years. He was offered many job positions outside of the state of Texas, and there was no way we were leaving Burnet County. We're bulldogs, we bleed green, our children bleed green, but we love Burnet County. And working for the county, I realized that this was an opportunity that I could serve my fellow citizens, which are comprised of my friends, my neighbors. If I haven't met you, you're just a friend. I don't know your name yet. We will be friends, don't worry. I would like to bring additional services to the tax office, such as extended business hours. I would like to start with 1 day a week in Marble and 1 day a week in Burnet that we're open till 6 o'clock to help you guys out that work till 5 o'clock. I would also like to facilitate boat and watercraft registrations with Texas Parks and Wildlife. Currently, people that own watercrafts and boats, they're having to drive to Austin, Temple, Brownwood, or Blanco. Those are the 4 closest locations they have. I grew up on Lake Buchanan. I know how many boats are in the Highland Lakes area, and I just feel that this is a service that's needed. And lastly, I'm eager to serve. I'm at a point in time in my life, my children are grown. I have a dog that waits at home for me, and I'm available to give back to my community. Thank you.
I'm motivated to work. Excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. My motivation to be Burnet County Tax Assessor Collector is being the Chief Deputy Tax Assessor Collector. I truly love my job. Sherry Frazier is the only elected official that has actually 2 offices in Burnet County, and she's allowed me, like I said before, to manage and supervise the staff and office in Marble Falls. I thrive in that office, helping people transfer titles and registration. That's 98% of the tax assessor collector's job, is helping people transfer titles and registration. Everybody does not do that on a daily basis. There's a lot to that job. I don't know what's wrong with me tonight, sorry. I take really big pride in people knowing who I am in the Marble Falls community and surrounding areas. Law enforcement, government, schools, financial institutions, dealerships all know me very well and come to me for their issues. I'm ready. I've been ready. Sherry's prepped me for this job for a long time, and I'm ready to take the reins. Thank you.
All right. Then, Ms. Allen, the next question will start with you. In your opinion, what is the most important role of the tax assessor collector?
The most important role of the tax assessor collector is educating and helping people transfer titles and registration. Like I said, people don't do this on a daily basis. People will come in and they just don't know how to do it. And it's the tax assessor's job to help them have the correct paperwork, tell them the law, and help them so they don't have to pay penalties. The other thing the tax assessor is responsible for is the financial fiscal liability to the taxpayer. When I first started, we were open till 5 o'clock. When Burnet County decided to start paying higher wages to be more competitive, we started closing at about 4:30 because we were getting overtime. If you get overtime with 7 employees, that's going way over budget. There are other ways that we can accommodate the taxpayer and not cause overtime. I know, being open till 6 o'clock would help some people, but there's other ways that we could accommodate people. There's online registration, there's through the mail, we take phone calls, possibly HEB in the near future. But you have a fiscal responsibility to your taxpayer also. Thank you.
Then Ms. Fisher, same question. In your opinion, what is the most important role of the tax assessor?
So I was unable to pinpoint just one important role. As an elected official, you have many roles that are extremely important. One of the things that the tax assessor collector does is she receives and collects and disperses all of the real estate taxes collected in Burnet County. Last year, she collected over $50 million in taxes and fees collected for the state and the DMV. So obviously, accounting is going to be a pretty big requirement in this position. The other thing that the tax assessor collector must do is make sure that the tax office operates by the book. We are the appointed agent for the state, the Department of Motor Vehicles, and we also collect for TABC. They have specific laws and statutes set out that we must follow as an elected official. We don't get to make the rules. We simply have to follow them. Continuing education is going to be crucial in keeping your staff current on upcoming changes with the laws and any modifications to, again, the laws and statutes. So there's multiple roles that the tax assessor has. But I feel one of the biggest roles that she or he could have, depending, it's going to be she because we're both girls. It's going to be our job to ensure that the needs of the community are met, that they're always the forefront of daily operations. We're here to provide you, the citizens, the taxpayers, with excellent customer service, friendliness, knowledgeable. We need to be knowledgeable. My goal is that when you leave that office, your needs were not only met, but your expectations were completely exceeded with excellent customer service. Thank you.
All right, next question, we will stay with Ms. Fisher. In an office with multiple locations and multiple employees, what qualifies you to lead this complex environment?
Okay, as Susan said, the tax assessor collector currently is the only elected official that has 2 offices. My current position as Chief Deputy Treasurer requires me to already drive to various locations in order to to perform official duties. So I'm very well versed in managing my time accordingly to fulfill my daily responsibilities in an efficient manner. I have to get my work done, but it may be in different places. I also possess the leadership and management skills necessary to lead a countywide office with consistency, ensuring that the employees understand the day-to-day operations. In addition, I'm dedicated to being a working tax assessor collector. I will divide my day in order to be in both offices daily, making myself readily available for not only my staff, but for you as well. I'm willing to work hard, and like I said, I'm at a point in time in my life that I have a lot of extra time, and I'm willing to put the work in to serve my community. Thank you.
Then Ms. Allen, same question. In an office with multiple locations and multiple employees, what qualifies you to lead this environment?
Okay, well, obviously I've worked mostly in Marble Falls. I have worked in the Burnet office also. I'm familiar with both offices, and I've actually run both offices when need be, when Sherry is not available and Terry, the other supervisor, is not there. The other girls will call on me to help them, and I have helped them through situations. I have a lot of management experience. I don't seem like it tonight. I got a little bit of the nerves tonight for some reason, but I do have a lot of management experience in the past. I've handled a lot of situations. For some reason, in the South Annex, everybody comes to the tax office for me to handle things. I've handled fires, I've handled medical emergencies, I've handled title fraud, I've handled stolen vehicles, I've handled counterfeit money And now that was exciting. You haven't lived till you've seen movie money. That looks really like real money. But I'm really good under pressure. Not tonight for some reason, but I usually am very good under pressure. I have 19 years experience of managing, 19 years experience in the tax office, 15 years of managing in both offices. Last year I worked for 5 weeks up in Burnet while they were remodeling our office, and while Sherry was gone, several of those days I was actually able to manage up there. I have no problems managing. I have a lot of knowledge, a vast knowledge of the vehicle titles and registration, which is, like I said, 98% of the tax assessor's time, job. Thank you very much.
Then Ms. Allen will stay with you. Next question is, with the growth that's occurring in Burnet County, how do you see the role of tax assessor changing?
Well, the tax assessor collector's job really isn't going to change much because, yes, the tax assessor collector does a little bit of reporting. The tax assessor will receive the property taxes from the appraisal district, but all she does is report them and then sends them on to be dispersed. 98% of the tax assessor collector's job is vehicle titles and registration. That role isn't really going to change. The only thing that changes is the Texas vehicle laws and codes. Those are changing constantly. In 2025, there's going to be a lot of changes. First of all, in January, there's going to be no inspections anymore. That's going to be a big change. We don't know what that's going to be. I know you're not going to have your vehicle inspected, but you're still going to have to pay that fee. I don't know how they're going to explain that, but we'll find out. In June, they're going to do away with paper tags. When you buy a new vehicle now, you're going to immediately get metal tags. That's another thing that is going to be new and exciting for the tax assessor. And so it's going to be important for the new tax assessor to have a good background and knowledge of the law in order to understand these new changes. But like I said, the role really doesn't change. It's the laws and understanding them and teaching her staff. Thank you.
And Ms. Fisher, same question. With the growth, how do you see the role of tax assessor changing?
I agree with Susan. Our role really, we're limited on how much what we can change, first of all. There will be new changes. There's yearly education that we go to classes. We will be kept up to date on the statutes and the laws and the things that we need to be paying attention to and changing. I really thought about I'm on the Bertram Economic Development Corporation board, and so we talk a lot about growth. It is coming. It's at our door. One of the things that I know about county government is that we grow faster than our budgets grow, and that creates a lot of struggles. So I think that we're going to have to grow with the community as the budgeting process allows us to do such. However, in the meantime, I think it's going to be crucial to find solutions to work with the current number of staffs that we have and the facilities that we have. It takes a long time to get buildings approved and worked into the budget. So we're going to have to work with some struggles that we're probably going to have, some tight offices. My goal is just to make sure that we are serving the taxpayers to the best of our ability by making it our number one priority, not only today, but every day. I think it'll also, we need to possibly, I know Susan talked about the overtime. I do payroll for Burnet County. I see the overtime, and I know the struggles. And so, again, I think we're going to have to think outside of the box. Maybe we're open till 6. Maybe on those days we don't open until 9. We're talking it's one day a week. So we're going to have to make adjustments within our budget restraints to accommodate the needs of our citizens. The budgeting process That's not your problem. You guys want your tags, you want to be serviced, and we need to figure out how to make it convenient for you. So as tax assessor collector, I would definitely be willing to put in just the thought and making that happen. Thank you.
All right, and the last question, we'll start with Ms. Fisher. Assuming you win, what is the first thing you do on your first day in office?
So again, county government, it is an amazing thing. So my very first day in the office as tax assessor collector, it will be business as usual. The beauty of county government is you acquire 2 offices that are fully staffed with very educated, trained, knowledgeable, efficient employees. So it will be business as usual. I'm sure there will be a lot of behind the scene, paperwork, things that I have to do. But my goal on day one is for it to be a seamless transition. I don't want the customers or the taxpayers to feel that they're not the most important priority that day. So again, overall, it's business as usual. I'll be blessed to have 2 offices full of employees that are very knowledgeable. Thank you.
And Ms. Allen, same question for you. Assuming you win, what is the first thing you do on your first day?
Well, the first day would actually be January 2nd. It is one of the busiest days of the year because you're coming back. First of all, it's the first part of the month, which everybody from December is coming in to register their vehicle. You're getting back from the holiday season, and we've been closed for several times. So it's going to be super duper busy. And like Deanne said, it's going to be all hands on deck that day. Since I have the experience, it would be no problem for me whatsoever to take over in the office. I know what with 19 years experience, I know exactly what I'm doing. I've been doing it forever. I know it like the back of my hands. I love what I'm doing. I apologize for this evening. I really don't know why I have nerves. I've talked to a lot bigger audience than this. But I would go in and it would just be seamless for me to be able to run the office and continue to do a great job. I do a great job in Marble Falls. I'm very well known in that area. Unfortunately, I'm not in the Burnet area because I don't get a chance to really work up here. But I'd like to, bring my knowledge and experience here and get to know y'all. And like Chad said, please vote in May 28th. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, and so that's all of the questions. We'll give each of you a moment to make any closing remarks that you'd like to make. And so, Ms. Allen, we'll let you go first.
Oh, sorry. Like I said, I apologize for this evening, but I do have a lot of experience. Like I said, I really, truly love my job. I am really, really good at it. If you ask anybody in the Marble Falls area about vehicle titles and registration, the first person they're going to say is Susan Allen. Anybody in the city, anybody in the government, anybody in the school systems, the dealerships, the banks, they all know me by name. A lot of the people in the public all call me and know me by name. I am the go-to person for vehicle titles and registration. I'm a leader. I've led that office for many, many years. I've also led the Burnet office at times. I had a great leader and trainer, Sherry Frazier, and I'm ready to go. And I would appreciate your vote. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And Ms. Fisher.
I'm going to read this word for word because I don't want to leave anything out. My commitment to you is that, I will, sorry, excuse me, I'm with Susan, a little nervous. My commitment to you is that I will be a working tax assessor collector. I will be available Monday through Friday to assist you with your needs, and I welcome the opportunity to assist you. I have spent the last 30 years working to gain knowledge necessary to operate your tax office. with accuracy and financial transparency. I also possess the leadership skills which will enable me to operate a countywide office. I will strive daily to ensure you receive knowledgeable, efficient, and friendly service, and that your expectations are not only met, but exceeded. Leading with experience, serving with integrity is not just a slogan to me, it is a promise. Please allow me to work hard for you by voting Deanne Fisher on March the 28th. I would be honored and humbled to have your vote. Thank you.
All right, then that's going to conclude our questions to the candidates. I'm sure that the candidates will remain available to answer any questions any of you may have. And to those of you that came, I want to thank you for participating. To the candidates in particular, thank you for putting yourself out there. And it's not fun to get up there and answer questions, but you all did a wonderful job, I thought. And to those of you that are watching on the Facebook page, I hope you are more enlightened about the people that are running. To the Burnet Chamber of Commerce, thank you for putting on this event. Dr. Pena, great to meet you and glad you're here. And Mr. Byerly, thank you for all of your volunteer work. And with that, we will be concluding.